Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Are we cold? What's the weather like where you are? Dave and I are a little bit tired of the cold. And I love winter. Love, love, love winter. But let me tell you guys what I got going on here. Let me tell you the -10, -9 burr. Everybody's just hunkered down, sitting next to the fire, making soups, trying to stay warm. Drop in the comments, let me know where you're watching this from. If you're watching it live, obviously, please comment live. You'll know if you're live because up in the corner, there's a little red bar that says live. And if you're watching the replay, please type replay. So this is No Guts, No Story, my Saturday morning, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. on the dot since 2006. That's a long time, you guys. That is like, my goodness, 18 years. So when my kids were little and they were growing up at home, it never mattered if we were at the lake house, if we were at a football game, Salvation Army football, Russell Wrestling Club, dance competition. I never miss a Saturday. And I'll tell you guys, I love the No Guts, No Story podcast, the live, the videos, not just because I can sew into all of you, but it's where it keeps me. So know this, I do this as much for me as I do for you. And that's why it's absolutely free. I know there's a lot of coaches out there that charge for all their weekly and daily inspiration, but if I can make a difference to just one person, it's going to be huge for me. So some of you guys have heard the story of the guy on the beach and there's all the starfish and he's picking up the starfish that are dying and he's throwing them back into the water for hours. And there's a guy that comes along and he goes, you know, you're never going to make a difference with saving all these starfish. And he picks up one and he chucks it in the water and he says, made a difference for that one. And I love that story because sometimes I don't even know who's watching, who's listening, what happens for them. But last week I went to the pharmacy to pick up some things that I needed. And while I was there, the girl in our local pharmacy, the girl that used to work at the pharmacy would always talk to me about starting a place for recovery. Her name was Michelle. We were always going to turn my, acreage into a ranch. She's like a 25-year recovering addict. She was always asking about my family and the situation, when Dave's mom was sick or all the things we were going through. I was at the pharmacy like every other day. We became really tight. And the guy that owns the pharmacy, his kids grew up with my kids, and I taught all 6 of his kids, even the boys, dance. So there's just a ton of camaraderie there every time I go, right? So I know everybody knows me. And there are other people who are acquaintances. It's not like we grew up in dance competitions or we saw each other every Friday night at the football team, but we know each other because it's a small town with 3 stoplights. Like everybody knows everybody, but I don't know their name, know their mom, know their dad. But this girl I know. In fact, when I was a little girl, some of her kin would babysit us when my mom and dad were on the truck. They drove truck. And so what happened was I go in there the other day and I'm waiting in line, guys. I'm waiting in line. And she's like, how are you? And I'm like, exhausted. I never say that because I'm always at the top of my game. But I was waiting. I was getting like some cough drops, some lemon stuff, like all the natural stuff, because I literally had lost my voice. And the lady behind me maybe isn't so much a fan. Her daughter and my sister grew up together. So there's always that, you got some haters. You got some haters. Drop in the comments who has some haters. So I'm in line at the pharmacy, and I know a somewhat hater is in line behind me. And the girl behind the counter, who I'm like trying to remember, like, what's her name? Oh yeah, her name is, and it's not my friend Michelle that worked there forever. It's a new girl. She goes, oh my God, I know you're tired, but oh my God, I love watching you. And she tells everyone in the pharmacy, like, do you know who she is? Do you follow her podcast? Oh my God, do you listen to No Guts, No Story? And I literally was in there like 3rd day of no washing your hair because it's too damn cold to wash your hair, right? I have on Uggs, sweatpants, probably no underwear. True story. Like just fresh out of bed, pull on whatever's warm, run into town too much information. And I'm dying because I'm like looking around to see how many people are in there. And they're all looking at me like no makeup, needed my lashes done, half inch of gray hair showing. Like we all have our days, right? I was at maximum capacity. Like I was literally done. How many of you have ever just been maximum capacity? You're like, I can't get ready. I can't get up. I can't get going. And I needed to refill my cup. And you've got to listen to your body. Like when you don't have a voice and you're absolutely exhausted and you have big bags under your eyes and you're looking in the mirror, you're like, whoo, that looks rough. Like you got to know when you're at maximum capacity. And then there's other times when you got to know, like, I'm so good. I'm in the vortex. I'm rolling. I'm in the flow. And when you get in the flow, you do not want to get out of the flow. Repeat that after me. When I am in the flow, I do not want to get out of the flow because it is so hard to get back into it. And you can get in a funk to where you're like, I don't know how I got in the funk. I didn't used to be in the funk. But now that I'm in the funk, there's just nothing. I just want to feel like myself again. I just want to be happy again. I just want to be dreaming again. And Dave and I had a great coach that we got to listen to. Gosh, I think it was October. We had an afternoon in Las Vegas in Eric Worre's home with Rob Dyrdek. Now, I don't know how many of you guys know Rob Dyrdek, but he does the show Ridiculousness. I'm not a TV watcher, but I will promise you, I knew who Rob Dyrdek was, him and Chanel West Coast, because that is one of Dave's sit and laugh hysterically at stuff that I'm like, this isn't even funny, and I'm like, why are you watching that? And then I walk in the room and then I'm dying laughing. Have you guys ever watched his show? Anyway, if you meet him in person and you sit down with him and you get mentoring and coaching from him, he's not the same guy that we see on TV. Not even a little bit. He wasn't that funny. He was pretty dry and to the point, but he was he was funny, but he was just very matter of fact focused. So he has this, I'm Rob Dyrdek at home with my wife and my kids. I'm not letting anyone steal my time, my energy, my focus. I'm going to be a billionaire this year. Like that was the Rob Dyrdek that I met. And then there's this other one on stage, on the show, making jokes, showing people that are like puking and falling off their bike and landing with the bar between their legs and like slipping on a trampoline and cracking their head. Like his show is ridiculousness, right? But that is not who Rob Dyrdek is. I have gained so much respect for him. Literally can't wait to be in another one of his coaching sessions, use his system. He talked about something that was called the rhythm of life. And if you guys ever just want to go listen to a podcast that will literally kick your butt, it is called Build with Rob. So Dave sent it to our kids last night to listen to because it's really, really big. It talks about what happens when you are at maximum capacity. And I even had some notes on this. Dear Lord, I got everything set up, got all the lights set up, don't have any notes. So here we roll. So maximum capacity. I want you guys to think of this. You get in your car and you look down at your tank and you're like, my tank is on empty. Drop in the comments, what is the first thing you do? Where are you going when you get in your car and you see you don't have any gas? Where are you going? Are you going to go home and just not put any gas in it and wake up the next morning and get in it and drive it and think that it's going to work? Because it ain't going to go very far. Let me ask you another question. When you're driving your car and you look at your dash and it shows the red light and it's blinking and the temperature gauge is like, woo, it's going like this. Some of you don't know. You'll blow your motor if you don't listen. But you don't just keep driving it hot like, oh, I'm going to make it there. I did that once. Chance and I drove from a convention in Los Angeles, California, Callie had a senior night thing at at Hayes High. And oh my gosh, we had to get there. It wasn't senior night because I never would have cut senior night that close. It was something. Homecoming, I don't know, something big. And Chance and I were like, we can do it, right? So we leave LA. We know it's going to take 20 hours. We're driving his SRT Charger, one of my favorite cars I've ever drove. We drove for 20 hours. We did stop. We took pictures in the Great Canyon or the Grand Canyon. We took pictures in the crazy forest. Like, you know me, I'm blue personality. So we were stopping for all the Kodak moments, but we were going to make it. And when we were about 2 hours away, not even Colby, Kansas, Chance is like, Mom, it says add oil. I'm like, okay, when we get there, we'll add oil. And we are, I forgot who this car was. Dave ordered it online from some big, crazy, famous fighter. Had the same, I don't know, had red interior, SRT Charger, white, red leather seats. Like if you can imagine us, we're just moving and grooving and jamming. And we're like, it's going to be okay. We're just keeping on going. And the car is at maximum capacity. Like it can't keep going much longer. Not only are we going with low oil, when it's a straightaway, not going to lie, we're going like 110 miles an hour. Can any of you relate? You got the warning light coming on. You got the pedal to the metal. Like, you know, you can do it. You're just pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. You're pleasing everybody. You're the yes man. I'll fix it. You're fixing it. You're controlling it. You're caring for everyone. You're funding everyone. You're closing everybody's customers. Like, you're doing all the things. And then let me tell you guys what happened. There was a little poof, and we blew the engine. And we never made it to the destination that was so important to get to. Well, we did, but extremely late and not in that vehicle. And I think the moral to the story is some of us don't understand. We're at maximum capacity. We're getting all the warning lights. And this is what happens. If you want to hear the real training that's freaking amazing, go look it up. Rob Dyrdek, maximum capacity. He doesn't have the stories that I just told you. He's very to the point. It lasts about 15 minutes and it's over. But it was such an aha moment for me that I was like, dang, Dave, we've been operating a lot of times at maximum capacity. And I know better than this. You got to set boundaries. You got to have a schedule. You got to have a calendar. But I love my people so much that I don't want to tell them no. And even when it's impossible, like there's no way I can do one more Zoom at 9:30 at night. I'm like, I'm there. I'll be there. Like we're in pre-launch. We're building. Like I'm there for you, right? And some of you leaders, some of you who are moms of several kids, some of you grandmas helping with all the grandkids. I've been there too. God, I miss my grandkids. Like you have no idea how bad I would love to be at Jets football game today. But it's 15 hours away, and I have a very busy week, and I have a bunch of properties here at the lake, and I got frozen pipes, and it's negative degrees, and the dock is literally like this right now with ice over the top of it. As badly as I would love to jump on a plane and go to Florida or go to, a bunch of my friends are in Florida at a big training, go to, Phoenix and watch the ball game, all the things I would love to do. Yesterday, Grant and Elena Cardone had a relationships weekend. And I was literally like, I'm buying that for me and all my kids and all the partners. And then I was like, no, you're not. But my brain said, yes, that would be so life-changing. And then my lessons that I've learned in life said, you remember the last time you went maximum capacity, you've got to like rein it back in and say, what can I do? Now, I'm not saying be a dud. I'm not saying don't be the rainmaker. I mean, I'm not saying don't be the go-getter and get the award, because go-getters get rich. Go-getters change the world. Go-getters make impact. Like I'm changing the world. I'm making impact. I am a go-getter. I am going to get things done. I am going to be a household name. I am going to build a $1 billion brand. I will leave a legacy. But here's the thing. I am not going to die doing it. And you can't either. So you got to know what is your maximum capacity. And sometimes you have to like rein it back in, right? So I love No Guts, No Story. I love the new company that we're launching. Like, oh my God, I've never been so obsessed with anything in my life. I love real estate. I love Christmas. I love Christmas stores. I love decorating and selling Christmas. And like, we have the largest Christmas store in Kansas. I still want to dabble in that every time there's a market. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing it. Like in my brain, I want to write the next book. I want to have a retreat for all my besties in my coaching page. I want to launch a company. I want to buy 3 more houses, right? I want to speak on Grant Cardone's stage and I'm winning the speaking contest. Like I'm paying for that right now. I want to be able to be in the next book that Christopher Hussey's doing. And I'm being in that next book right now. Like I just produced a planner. The planner is amazing. I have all these projects, right? And yesterday I get a call and it's one of the businesses that I own. And the kid is like, yeah, the lady quit. And I'm like, okay. And everyone who knows the situation is like, thank God. She was sucking the life out of everyone. And the manager is like, so do we just close in the mall from 10 to 2? I'm like, we go on Indeed. Kelly, crank up the ad. We get a new person. Like, I didn't go, oh my God, she quit. We have nobody to open in the store Saturday. What are we going to do? We're going to lose sales. Customers are going to be mad. It was like water off a duck's back. Like, thank God she quit. We're going to find somebody new. It's going to be amazing. I'm tired of her bitching and complaining anyway. It completely drains me and it sucks the life out of everyone else. Like if somebody leaves you, let them. If something doesn't serve you, bless and release it. Like so many people try to control and keep everything like, oh my God, I can't believe this and I can't believe that. Don't even give it any power. From your tongue, I'm telling you, it goes into the universe and you create the chaos. The maximum capacity happens when you can't handle that much going on. Now, I have a very high capacity. I can do a million things. I mean, even yesterday, I have a bunch of stuff here locally in a consignment store, and I had the best Christmas booth. And literally, I showed up one day, left. Every month, I got $2,000, and I wasn't even in town. Like, I just, when you're good at something and you know, you're just like, oh, this will be fun. And yesterday, when the lady called and said, you need to come and take it all down, and you need to get your spring stuff in here, I was like, I'm at maximum capacity. Like, I don't need to be dinging around for $2,000 a month trying to get some Easter bunnies and some hearts in there, because that's not going to serve me in the big picture. And it's so hard for me to say no. It's so hard for me to say, you know what, I'm going to let my booth go because I got way bigger fish to fry. Because I'm a yes girl. I'm a people pleaser. I feel more bad about the lady not having my 300 rent than I do about me not having enough time to get something or even making a profit, because I'm an empath, right? Maximum capacity is when you're doing too many things, you're completely drained, you don't love what you're doing, and you really do them crappy anyway because you don't have laser focus. So what I have done, and I'm going to encourage all of you guys to do, figure out your rhythm of life. What makes you happy? And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. This wasn't on my plan, but there's this other, like the Holy Spirit is telling me this right now. Okay, there's this other book. And it talks about practicing the art of surrendering things that don't serve you. And in the book, it says, what would have to happen in your life right now? Ooh, this is a dynamite question. Get this. I'm going to back up. Think about your life right now. What would have to happen? Angie, I just saw your comment. Hi, I'm Angie. I'm a recovering people pleaser. Me too, right? I'm still doing it. It pays really well. You just have to protect your own health. So I want you to ask yourself, what has to happen in your life right now? What would have to change for you to be like, I have absolute peace? I love my life. It's amazing. Like the little girl on the vanity, I love my hair. I love my house. I love my sister. I love my mom. I love my dad. I love my dog. I love my car. I love my pajamas. The little girl's just like in the mirror, right? She's just like, I love my life. I'm the best. I can do anything. I can do anything because I'm the best. And she's just in the mirror and she's just rocking it. Like, I want to watch that every day. I literally want to go get Lola and be like, please record this because it is the best lesson ever. But people don't wake up and say that. They wake up, they get one phone call. Oh my God, FML. Oh my God, I hate this. Or they see something, go, ugh. I mean, if you're doing that, you're at maximum capacity. You need to love your life. Now, if you don't love your life, do something different. If you don't love your life, do something different. This is not a dress rehearsal. You're not getting a redo. They're not going to bring out the little thing on stage and go, take two. Nope, you're not getting a redo. This is it. And you're either growing or you're dying. But when you get to maximum capacity, I'll tell you, there's just days a year ago, this month, I was at maximum capacity. And I will tell you why. Because I didn't see the engine light and listen to it. I just kept pushing. I'm not giving up. I'm never saying not. There's no way I'm quitting. I'm never starting over. Like, I'm on the road to nowhere. Mentally, physically, my health is bad. And I'm just like, nope, not listening, not listening. I had all the warning signs. I will tell you, God literally was like, let's give her pneumonia. Then she can't talk. Now, I know God didn't give me pneumonia, but there were so many things that were being allowed to happen in my life to get me to see the warning, road closed, cross signs, like, don't keep going. There's a train coming. Nope, I'm just going. Nobody's going to stop me. I'm at maximum capacity and I'm just going at the time, right? Shingles all over my body. I thought I had a mosquito bite on my neck. I'm like, what is this, Dave? I stopped at Salina, same manager from the store. It was like his first day. I'm like, I'm sorry, Braden. I don't have like a disease or anything. It's a mosquito bite. He's like, I don't think that's a mosquito bite. 2 days later, it's all over my body. Like, I'm burning. I'm oozing. It's contagious. I had a new grandbaby coming in 4 months, and you can't get around anyone pregnant when you have shingles, and it didn't go away. It was just like a wart that wouldn't go away. It just kept flaring up. And there comes times in your life where you have to be like, okay, God, I'm going to stop and listen. And some of you just won't listen. You just keep pushing. You're miserable. I hated everything. I loved No Guts, No Story, but I really didn't have the energy to do it. I loved network marketing, but I was like, I am so done. I'm never doing this again, right? Don't let me ever do that again. That's what I was saying. That's not me. That's maximum capacity. I would literally go in the grocery store and get back in the car and be like, I hate people. And my daughter, who was struggling, would look at me and be like, Mom, what is wrong with you? Like, you're not the same person. I would have a conversation with Callie. She would call me from Germany and she would be like, Mom, this doesn't seem like you. Like, this doesn't seem like you. She bought Dave and I a 2-week vacation to come to Germany. And when I got to Germany, she had paid for the hotel, everything. Dave and I had this beautiful room. And it was so different, you guys. There was no stress. Nobody was really talking to us because it was day when it was night. It was raining every day. We were just sitting or walking 10 miles a day. There was no cars. Nobody there had a car. I had a Starbucks cup. I'm walking around with my Starbucks like there wasn't even a trash can. I couldn't even find a place to throw it away because you got to take it home and recycle it. There wasn't a big refrigerator. It was real small. Everything was minimalistic. So like you went and walked to the market and got whatever you were going to cook, just enough for what you were going to cook because there wasn't enough room to store it all, right? It was such a different vibe. And during that 2 weeks, about 5 days into it, we quit a lot of things. We just drew a line in the sand and said, yeah, we're not going back to that toxic life. You can't let other people's actions control you. There were people that I loved that were struggling with addiction, and I thought I could control it and cure it and fix it and change it, and I couldn't. There were people in my life who were incredibly hateful. Every conversation was about people, and that was getting in my head. I'm like, I cannot have these conversations discussing people every time I'm around you. I talk about solutions and ideas and businesses and empires. I don't discuss people. I can't stand people that discuss people. Like, get away from me. It's like cancer. There's times that you do have to talk about situations, but there's some people, like, that's their mission in life, to tear down instead of build up. Dave and I were like hermits. Like, we got in this little box, and don't get me wrong, I loved the company I was doing. I loved the people in the company. I even loved the people I was working with. I was in a very maximum capacity, toxic situation that there was no solution to. And I'm not saying quit every good thing that ever happened to you, but you've got to take time to say, what is my rhythm of life? What do I believe in? What do I stand for? What do I want to do with my life? I want to help people in recovery. I want to help people with mental health. I want to help people like my mother-in-law that was struggling with a life-threatening disease, and they were putting poison in her body every day, and I was watching it happen. I was like, how can I fix and make a difference? In what I was doing, there was no way I could really make a difference, because what I wanted to do wasn't going to happen by me painting walls, tearing up carpet, flipping houses, decorating a Christmas store, fixing everybody in my family. Like, I was more worried about everyone around me than I was about my own self. And I'm going to tell you right now, get in alignment with what you have as a rhythm of life that you would do every day that makes you so happy, and decide that you're going to draw a line in the sand and say, I'm only doing this. Because if you do that right, Rob Dyrdek spends 20% of his time, 20% on his business, and 80% of his time hanging out with his kids, going to a movie with his wife. They plan breakfast. I want his planner. I literally would pay whatever it took to have him just go to Dave and be like, get a planner and get on your wife's planner and do everything she puts on the calendar. I mean, oh my God, that would be a dream, because I'm time crazy, right? But what he said is understanding what your capacity is, and then it's essential to your quality of life. I'm going to say that again. Understand what your capacity is and know that that is essential to your quality of life. The sun's coming in the shutters and I keep having little spots on my face. You guys see that? Sorry. I know it's very distracting. So at one point in my life, when I just wanted to quit every good thing that ever happened to me, I wanted to quit talking to people that were very close people that I loved. I wanted to quit doing my morning podcast. I wanted to quit network marketing. I wanted to move far away from everybody that I love, like just making irrational, crazy ass decisions. And when you get to there, I want you guys to know that is not you. That's you coming from maximum capacity. And goal clarity is always good. Are you overwhelmed or are you out of capacity? Let's talk about this word overwhelmed. Are you really overwhelmed, or do you just hate a certain situation that you're dealing with right now that maybe you don't have a solution to? You're pushing it to the limit. Absolutely pushing it to the limit. And that's okay. But you'll start to make irrational decisions. You'll be like, I'm going to go to the bar and get drunk. I'm literally going to eat this whole bag of chips. All I want is pizza and wine. I'm done with these people. And I'm telling you guys, that's your tank on empty. The thing I admire about Rob Dyrdek is he doesn't ever resort to that. He says, I haven't eaten carbs or sugar or had any alcohol, I mean, like in over a year. I'm like, how the heck do you do that? He has this rhythm of life to where he knows I'm going to live to be 92. I have X amount of weeks left in my life. He doesn't think 70 average lifespan. He thinks like close to 100. And he reverse engineers his capacity of what he's going to do. And he has a plan. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love a plan. I love systems. I'm literally obsessed with this guy's training. He says it doesn't feel like highs and lows. It doesn't feel like that. It's more like I love you 1 minute, I hate you the next. You just feel overwhelmed on a regular basis. And working 25% of your life and enjoying 75% of your life, sleeping like a baby, waking up completely synchronized, loving how you feel, getting great mental health, knowing that you're doing something that's gonna make a difference. Some of you need to feel significant. You need recognition. You need that master's degree. You need that big house. You need that Corvette. Like you need the vacation home. You need all those things. Others of you are like, I don't need any of that. I just need security. Some of you don't need security or any significance. You just need love. Like most all of us just want to be loved. And there's other people who it's in their blood. Like contribution to them is like oxygen. It's a necessity. They've got to make impact. They've got to make contribution. It's when I learned that even though these houses that we were flipping were making money like crazy, like I've never found anything faster. I mean, network marketing, yes, but there's nothing faster than real estate if you want to go make $200,000 or $300,000 fast, right? But you got to take a risk. Network marketing, the reason why I love it is you can make the same 200,000 or 300,000 and your risk is like buy a product, go live. Like they both make the same fortune. More people can do the direct sales part. So in my brain, as I'm taking this money to the bank from these houses, and Dave's like, holy crap, let's buy 3 more. I'm on empty. It was so weird. Like we were just, I mean, what are you going to do with a big fat bank account? And some of you are like, let me find out, right? Getting the swimming pool in your backyard, getting the new Escalade ESV, getting a new fur coat or a vacation to Hawaii with your grandkids. Yeah, the vacation to Hawaii with your grandkids. That's memories you're never going to forget. But the other stuff, it just wears off. And I'll tell you what it brings along with it. More stress, more taxes, more having to have the upkeep. Like, let me just be straight out real with you. There's no feeling like giving away more money than you ever thought you could make or helping someone and making an impact. Once you took care of yourself, you got to take care of yourself, because if you don't, you're going to have a tank on empty. So what Rob Dyrdek said, you said the day I wanted to eat a whole pizza, go home, go to bed, drink a bottle of wine, quit every good thing that ever happened to me. He said, what I did, I stopped everything I was doing. I took my wife. We went to a funny movie, change your state, change your life, right? For me, Sunday morning praise and worship, I'm like butterfly in a cocoon. Like I come out like a brand new woman. I can go in cussing like a sailor, being like, pray for me. I send a lot. And I can come out like, oh, I'm going to start a church. Like it is just like transformation for me. But I need that. Some people don't need that. Rob Dyrdek is his name, Patrice, Rob Dyrdek. So understanding what your capacity is essential to your quality of life. You don't need Netflix and alcohol and food to be able to reach your happy spot. What you really need is complete clarity, knowing what your goal is, knowing that you actually have a plan to get you there, understanding that if you don't take action and that light's on, the engine's going to blow. That's your body. That's your brain. That's your mental health. That's your relationships. And if you don't get your life back into order and you don't listen to the warning signs, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I'm going to scare you with this. Stress is the silent killer. Keep talking gossip and negative stuff to your elderly mom and dad. Keep telling your kids that they're a little loser and a little lazy and a little whatever. Like, thoughts are things. You keep bringing all this negative every time you have a conversation with the people you love, it lowers their vibration. When I get around my mom and all my brothers and sisters are around, I try to control the conversation. Here's why: I can't afford some of the conversations in a small town. And that's my mom. When I'm with my mom, I want my mom to feel all love, all excitement. Everybody's good. Everything's awesome. We're going to have an amazing life together. We got to set some goals, get on a Disney cruise, like take everybody. There's going to be weddings and great grandkids and so many Christmases with all of us together. I'm not talking about the one person that started drama in the family. I don't even care. I'm not giving that any energy. We're not going to change the one person that started drama. We're not going to change the person in town that's doing something that people just can't believe they're doing. Here's the way you change people. You be a good example. You go be the one. So there was a time in our family where there was some gossip happening. And there was, we have Christmases with 50, 60 people. And it's not easy. But I'll tell you what I said. Our family doesn't gossip about people. Let's don't talk about them. Let's pray for them. Because it could be your kid next. It could be your sister next. It could be your spouse next. Don't talk about people. Pray for people. And when you get in your own alignment and you stand up for who you really are, everyone will respect you. They won't shun you. They will respect you. No statue is ever going to be erected for a critic. And we're all building this empire. You are building an empire, whether you know it or not. Your community, your church, your kids' sports club, it didn't matter if it was Barb School of Dance or Russell Wrestling Club. Dave and I were running that shit. We were like, we're going to control the culture. We're going to recognize the people. We're going to get them seeing themselves with their hand being raised on the mat. We're going to get them seeing themselves as national champions, even though it's a small town and we don't have very much talent. Like, we were grooming champions. We believed, we spoke it, we could see it, we could dream it. It was on the board, it was on the wall, it was on the calendar. Like, it was happening. And some of you are just like, it's never going to happen for me. I'm so stressed out. I hate my life. I hate this town. I hate this job. I hate these people. La, 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 la. And you're just the reason that so much crap keeps happening and you don't even know it. Dave will keep me in check. Like, you need to watch what you're saying. My kids are the worst because I raised them up in a house where we taught this. And now Chance will be like, Mom, the power of the tongue. My God, you need to really watch what you're saying. We all keep each other in check. So we're all going to have days where we fall off. We're all going to have days where we're not proud of the person that we are. It's okay to have a meltdown. Just don't stay there. And if you keep having meltdowns, understand you're at maximum capacity. Now, Rob Dyrdek said this, and I loved it. He said, my wife's not very good with lots of things happening. It's not in her DNA. But my wife's amazing, the person that she is. She just doesn't need to be doing 100 things and all these things happening. It's not good for her. She becomes a person that her maximum capacity is a lot lower than mine. He said, I can be doing a million things and I'm happy with that, but I can't push my wife to be like me and be operating at maximum capacity. So like, my kids would all come home for Christmas and somebody would be like, I get anxiety just being in the room with her. That's okay, because my capacity is bigger than yours. But don't ask me to shrink back down to your capacity, because I'm not trying to rent a house and I'm not trying to have to pay credit card debt. And I'm not trying to not be able to go on a vacation every month and have somebody tell me when I can and can't go see my grandkids, or if I want to give $1,000 away, to my favorite charity or pay for someone to go to rehab. Like, I'm doing what I want to do. Don't tell me that I can't. I have a bigger capacity than most people. How do you get a larger capacity? Conditioning, time. It's like flexing a muscle. When I was 10 years old, my mom and dad had me running the grocery store at Natoma Foods. Like, I didn't even know how to count change, and I was running a cash register. My dad was cutting meat, I was counting candy, and there wasn't a scanner. I had to write it down, count how many Jolly Ranchers, put it in. There was 10 people in line. They were all freaking out like, oh my God, this person bought 20 Jolly Ranchers. And the kid that was trying to get me to go to the homecoming dance was the third person in line. Like, I was little in teenage by the homecoming dance story, but like, I was doing these things when I was little. My mom and dad taught me big capacity, right? Not everybody's raised that way. So not everybody can be driving down the road, doing a live, second phone ringing, sirens coming around them to get somebody that's up ahead. Like, some people would just have a panic attack. My conditioning is different than most, but I too have a maximum capacity. So that's what you got to know about yourself. And here's what you need to do: have goal clarity. Because when you know, if I work this hard and I do this much and I do this many calls and I lose my voice and I get on the Zoom and I fly to the States and I drive the miles and I go without sleep, it's temporary, because the price I pay is easy when the prize is clear. See, I see a dozen people making six figures. I see 1,000 people making 1,000 a month. I see people being able to retire and quit their jobs and come to retreats with Dave and I. Like, I see all this happening, so I can handle the workload. But when you don't have goal clarity, you get overwhelmed, you get burned out. You base your knowledge on the current situation instead of the future, because you don't have a plan. You're just mad that nobody else is putting their clothes away. The sink is full of dishes. The dog crapped on the floor. There isn't any groceries. You got to go buy the groceries, do all the laundry, write all the bills, clean the whole house, wake up, go to work, wash the car, answer the phone, get all the emails out. Like, that's your fault. Because what you need to do is find a way that you can operate in alignment. What would it take? $100 a week to have someone come clean the whole house? Let it all pile up all week. Who cares if there's poop on the floor? You've got goal clarity, right? And you guys are laughing. But my oldest daughter went up in the attic this week and brought down some boxes of my favorite sweaters and sweatshirts from 2013, because when we had moved to a big mansion in Hayes, when the kids were getting ready to go to college and they wanted a bigger sports team, and then we moved back home, Dave and I were in the middle of a launch. I didn't even unpack my clothes. I just went and bought new ones. Like, I didn't worry about all the piles in the attic. And this week when we brought them down, there was this, now they're all vintage, right? Vintage shirts. But I didn't sweat the small stuff because I could see the bigger vision. Some of you are sweating such small stuff because you don't see the big picture. Desperate people do desperate things. And I have seen this firsthand. Desperate people do desperate things. Don't get desperate. Don't let your tank be on empty. Stay in alignment with the person that you know you are. And when you feel yourself going down the downward spiral, I got a call from a friend this week and we laughed hysterically. She is a born-again Christian. She goes to church. She prays. Like, this woman is a saint, but she was at maximum capacity. And when she called me, I thought a retired Marine or a sailor that just got off the boat was on the other end of the line, because she was pissed. Like, she and I were laughing. She was cussing. She was raising her voice. She was literally laying it all out. She was about to go punch this person right between the eyes. And someone had just pushed her to maximum capacity. And we talked it through and we realized what had happened. And this person, I love her so much. She goes, Barb, I never cuss. And then she dropped 14 more right in a row. And I was just letting them roll. I said, I am just so proud of you that you're finally at your limit where you're going to draw a line in the sand. And I reminded her of a story that she told of one time when she was in high school. And this was the funniest story ever. And this girl kept bullying her in high school. And she had this beautiful necklace, and it was like a trend back then. You guys remember when we all had Ms. Paws, and we all had little things, or you had like the bracelets that had little links. And this girl just pushed her to her limit. And this girl broke her necklace. And she came out like the Hulk, like Kool-Aid Man breaking through the wall. And, she just had enough. And she just got that girl. And it was the minute that the girl broke her favorite necklace. And I think for some of you, you're not even looking at the warning signs. Like, you're just letting people walk all over you. You're just letting everyone else dictate your schedule. You're letting the tail wag the dog. You don't have clarity on your goals. Nothing is contingent based on your knowledge. You just react. You just react to everything. You get a notification on your phone. Someone rings the doorbell. Then you got an email. Then the fire alarm's going off. Like, you're just like a freaking maniac. Like, you're out of the vortex, right? And when you get out of the vortex, nothing good happens. And when I say vortex, I'm talking about in alignment with who you are to where you have complete peace. And you say, I don't care what it costs me. I'm doing it. You say, I don't care what they take from me. The Lord's going to bless me back 10 times for anything that happened to me. You guys, 3 years ago, I was at maximum capacity with this one situation that just wouldn't go away. It was just, I'm not going to ever be able to change these certain people. And there was this time where my mentor, who has made $1 billion, 3 years ago, he was at $1 billion. He said, Barb, write the check. Like, you're either going to win he said, you don't have to win every battle. You want to win the war. And I remember, like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm going to win this argument. And you guys, here's the thing. Nobody wins an argument. Sometimes you have to leave people perplexed. Sometimes you have to realize that not all people are good people. Sometimes you have to move. Like, you're not a tree, like Jim Rohn says. You can actually move to a new neighborhood, a new environment, get some new friends. Like, especially if you can't change the situation that you're in. And I remember writing this check and being like, here you go. And I will admit, the non-Jesus side was coming out of me a little bit. I had COVID, and my friend Maxandra called me to pray with me. She goes, Barb, write the check, bless and release. And I was like, okay, Lord, I'm going to write it. It's theirs. I'm letting go of it. I mean, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars. I just wasn't going to win the argument. And as I licked the envelope, I had COVID, and I was like, I'm going to lick it 3 times. And then I was like, oh, Barb, that's so bad. But you know what? We all fall off the wagon. We all do. We all do. We're all going to have times where we're irrational. We're all going to have times where we just flip our lid. And then you're like, I can't even believe I lost my mind on those people like I did. But it's okay. It's okay to lose your mind occasionally. Learn from it. Grow from it. Know what you love about yourself and what you don't love. Just get back on track. GPS, redirecting, rerouting. Like, it's okay to just sit down and cry and be depressed and be mad and say that it's not fair and say that it wasn't right and say that you're tired and you're mad and you're overwhelmed and you're angry. But you guys, get up. Like, get some clarity. What are you going to do? Like, you can be there for a minute, but don't set up camp there, right? Don't spend it's a chapter. It's not a lifetime. And I have had some amazing mentors in my life. Sometimes it's just hard to let go, right, of things. I've had mentors when it comes to loving someone with addiction. I've had mentors when it comes from being depressed and losing someone to suicide. I've had mentors when it comes to being in a bankruptcy and having your name creamed all over and losing your car and living in a small town with 3 stoplights with everybody talking about you. Like, I learned that at 20. I mean, I'm 52 years old. 32 years later, promise you, people in my small town still talking about it. Guess what? Bless and release. Your past doesn't dictate your future. It doesn't. But your current situation and what you're allowing has a lot to do with what is going to happen in the next few days, the next few weeks, the next few months. You've got to draw a line in the sand. You got to say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. I'm at maximum capacity. This is what I'm going to do. And this is going to be my rhythm of life. And like Rob Dyrdek says, sometimes you have to unplug, take a break, and go do something. Now our kids are in business with us, and they're absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, we were on a Zoom this week, and I was watching Chance holding a baby. Him and Daisy were literally getting some merch out that we had done that the screen printer couldn't do the silver metallic I'm charged up, right? And there was like hours and hours and hours of stuff to be done. We were on a consulting call, and they were like, Chance, what are you doing? He's holding Rosie. He's moving things to packages. He's trying to get everything shipped out. And I'm like, he's at maximum capacity, but he's making it happen. Callie and Darian, I mean, I'm watching them. Callie is like answering every message for me because I can't even be online enough to stay in the chats. Darian, my future son-in-law, running customer service, literally tickets, thousands of people coming on, tickets. He's crushing it. It's 10 at night. He's crushing it. It's 9 in the morning. He's crushing it. He's at PT yesterday, physical therapy for this injury that he has. And I respond, he's at PT. He's not going to respond right now. And he's already taking care of it while he's getting his leg worked on. Like, our family operates very well at maximum capacity. But this week, I could tell all of us were pushing. And I said, do you know what? On Saturday at X time, we're going to turn the phone off and we're going to go to the PBR and watch professional bull riding. And a week ago, Dave's like, we are not. No, Darian is on crutches. We are not. And then we don't have to do that, Mom. It's too much. And I said, no. And Darian goes, Barb, I am not turning my laptop and my phone off. You don't understand. If I turn it off, there will be 25 more. And then I go, no, we are all going to take a break. And I'm telling you guys this, nothing is life or death. You got to take time where you unplug, where you shut the computer off, wait, go do something at 8 o'clock at night when you think maybe it's okay, right? Go to the late movie at 10 if you have to, but go do something. Step back, fill up your cup. Find a way that you can go laugh and clap and dance and sing and take the Kodak moment. It's okay to miss a day of work. It's okay to go get on an airplane that's too far and too much to go be with your grandkids for a day. Because here's what's going to happen. It's going to fill up your cup. It's going to bring back your joy. You're going to get back in your rhythm of life. You're going to hold that new baby and you're going to say, I'm going to find a way to quit my job because I want to hold this new baby every day. You're going to go to that kid's ball game and you're going to be like, I'm going to find a way to replace my income because I'm going to be the sponsor of this team. Like, Dave and I did crazy dreams and goals for one reason. Our kids. They were our everything. Nothing was going to be too far. Nothing was going to be too much. We were never going to miss a game. We were never going to not be able to sponsor the team, to get the shirts, to do whatever. And I'll end with this story. It's not about the money. It's the things that you can do. 2 weeks ago, when we were in Dallas, Texas, I had no idea that our partner would show up at the tour. We toured the lab, we toured the logistics warehouse, and we were in this massive gymnasium. And there was about a dozen of our top leaders and partners in business with us. And Darian was out on the basketball court. He's on crutches. He's getting better. But I mean, that's his dream. He had a basketball in his hand and I was just watching him. And I was thinking, like, what's going through his head? Because a lot of professional athletes work out in that gym. And the guy that built the gym and the logistics and the lab, like, he's made billions of dollars. And we'd been to his house, and it's 25,000 square feet. Like there's a lazy river in the backyard, and the mother-in-law's house is bigger than most of our homes, and it's attached, right? Like there's a long-haired Frenchie that's $25,000, and there's a trained Rottweiler that he got as a gift that's 30. Like money is no object, right? And everybody would look and say, like, I don't need a Mercedes like that. I don't need a $25,000 house or square foot house, probably 25 million. I don't need a lazy river. I don't need a Maserati. I don't need a $25,000 dog. Guess what, guys? Neither do I. But when we were at the logistics and he walked in and he was standing there in jeans and a shirt, and we were just talking to him, and I mean, imagine all your grandkids come over and they all bring their friends, and there's a lazy river for them to float in. I would love that. Not to say I have a lazy river in my backyard, but for the moments. He brings his entire teams there. And we said, how many teams do you have? There's a whole bunk room where 20 kids can sleep in bunk beds. He goes, yeah, after the games, there's a private jet they fly them on. After the games, they come over, they go in the lazy river, they get in the bunk beds. He goes, yeah, right now we buy shoes and equipment and jerseys and everything for about 890 kids that might not be able to afford. It's called Elite Academy. And I literally had chicken skin. I was like, oh my God, 890 kids get to play basketball on winning teams with amazing coaches, because that foundation funds it all. Now, I've never been into sports. My kids are. That's not my wheelhouse. But you know what? I want to help people. And my brain started to go. I was like, what's my foundation going to be? What's the legacy I'm going to leave? Like, what will people say that because your mom, because your grandma, blank, 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 blank. And I'm encouraging you guys, figure that out. Write out, what is your destiny going to be? What is your foundation going to be? What is your legacy that you're going to leave? Because I'm getting mine very, very clear. And you know what it does? It enlarges my capacity. But I'm only going to be as good as my energy. The size of my gifts that I can give are going to be the size of my dream. The size of my contribution that I can pour into people is going to be how much I take care of myself. And some of you need to take care of yourself. You need to be drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, you need to get your butt healthier. You need to get a little bit more energy. You need to get better sleep. You need to get in a mindset program. Have you guys seen the 21-day Vibe? The Vibe 21, Dave's doing free training every single day. Every single day for 21 days, free of charge. Whoever shared this with you, get with them, get the link, get the free coaching. Unfreaking believable. I think we're on day 4, but even if you sign up now, you can get the last 4 days. You just put in your email. He's loving it. It's his way to contribute. It's his being in alignment. It's his knowing he made a difference. And you want me to tell you guys something? Dave could have never done Vibe 21 if he didn't fail, if he didn't struggle, if he didn't lose, if he didn't hurt, if he didn't ache, if he didn't feel people betrayed him, if he didn't feel like he had lost. Like, the only way he conditioned this muscle was by tearing it and stretching it and ripping it and pushing it. And some of you, your capacity is low because you haven't had enough conditioning. I'm telling you guys, I'm conditioned. We are going to crush it with some amazing mentors and friends and people that have been there for me in times where I was like, I don't know what I would have done without them. I mean, there's one, Lisa Grossman. I've been trying to call her back all week. She's busy. I'm busy. We're both doing the thing. But you guys, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now had she not said one sentence to me. One sentence to me. And what she said to me a year ago was, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. And you guys, that wasn't an easy thing to hear. But I was like, damn, am I? A coach will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And at that point, I had to stop and say, What is in alignment? What do I want? What will I stand for? What will I build? And here's the reality. You're either building it or you're tearing it down. And the people that you're around are either building it or they're tearing it down. So get around the people that you're in alignment with. Focus on the goal. So when you have goal clarity, you're not going to feel overwhelmed because the price is easy when the promise is clear. And you got to get clear. What is promised? What is going to happen for you? It's in the Bible. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future, not credit card debt, sleepless nights, agony, a cesspool of negative people, bullies, a whole bunch of bullshit in your life, back taxes, alimony." Like, that's not the dream. That's not the dream. That's not what I want for my kids. That's not what your father wants for you. He wants you to be blessed and he wants to bless you. But here's what I've learned. You move, God moves. You move, God moves. It's not God moves and moves and moves and moves and moves and you don't do anything. Like, you've got to make a move. And the reality is, quit saying you're overwhelmed and do something about it, because there's only one thing that's going to cure that overwhelm. Action cures fear. So crazy. I just looked up, and in the bookcase is my album from 2001, Action Cures Fear. So I'm going to end with that, guys. Action cures fear. You need to go get clear and concise about your goals, and success loves speed. Take massive and immediate action. Say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to tolerate anymore. And when you think about that question I asked you, what needs to happen in your life for you to just feel peaceful? Focus on that and only that. Don't do anything else till you focus on that. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe you call maybe it's you and your spouse having a conversation like, dude, like, this is where I'm at. This is what has to happen. Maybe it's you and your kids. This is where I'm at. This is what has to happen. Don't go to bed mad and wake up overwhelmed and sassy, but not have the hard conversation, right? Take massive and immediate action, because action cures fear. And get clear on the prize. Focus on the dream and the goal with so much clarity that the price you have to pay will be easy, because the promise will be so clear. And if you feel overwhelmed and maximum capacity, turn off your phone today. You might miss some sales. You might miss some messages. You might lose out on some customers if you go lock your store and say, closed for the day, family emergency. But it is an emergency, because if you don't take care of you, how are they all going to do this if you're not here? And nobody thinks that's going to happen, but that's how serious it is. That is how serious it is. You got to get in alignment, quit being over capacity, get in your rhythm of life, do what makes you have absolute bliss with so much obsession. And I'm telling you guys, the money will come. The money will come when you focus on your purpose, your passion, and you bring value and you bring contribution. You will get paid exactly the value that you bring to the marketplace. It's in there. You have gifts. You have amazing talents and gifts. You're just focusing on lack of and scarcity instead of abundance and bliss. So change your state, change your life. You're not overwhelmed. You're just at maximum capacity, and you need to go get a reset, refocus, refuel, and we're going to absolutely crush it together all year. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you loved this broadcast. I did. And if you did, please drop in the comments, what was your one takeaway? I would love this for my own notes. Give me some feedback. What did you get from this broadcast? And do me a huge favor. Just go hit the share button. It won't cost you anything, but it helps me so much. I'm trying to build my following on Instagram. I'm trying to build my YouTube. I don't know what I'm doing on all these. I'm just a Facebook girl, but I have this broadcast going everywhere. It's on a podcast, so people can just listen to it. But the only way I'm going to get it out there, and I'm not going to get paid for it, this is free information, but the only way I'm going to get it out there is if all of you will share and tag a friend. So if you got value, please do that for me. Follow us on all the platforms, on Instagram, on TikTok. My TikTok sucks. I'm trying to get it going. Whoops. Got to cancel that. Cancel. My TikTok is blowing up. That's my affirmation, right? I know I'm going to get there. I'm learning as I'm earning. I'm growing just like every single one of you. But I know this. I can only do so many things, and I can't do anything without all of you and your support. So thank you so much. Please share, and I'll see you guys next week on No Guts, No Story.